This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Gianna, and thank you to Sphere Rocket VA for getting us connected to yet another Icon agent. Today we welcome Bonnie Walker to the show. Welcome.
Aloha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not doing too bad.
I'm like taken off guard. I'm like, she just told me aloha. Like, I've not gotten to talk to anybody from Hawaii yet. This is really exciting.
First, I love that.
Yeah. Bonnie, before I steal all your thunder about where you're from and all that good stuff, why don't you take over? Tell us your story. How'd you find yourself as a real estate agent in Hawaii?
So I have a military background. I was in the United States Army for almost 6 years and got out. And my husband at that time brought us here to Hawaii because he was still active duty. Uh-huh. And we just had a mutual interest in real estate, and after college I just decided to throw myself into the field and absolutely love it, people person, and here we are today.
That's really cool. And so, you came over to Hawaii and, different career, but how did you get involved in EXP?
So I was very lucky to have a wonderful lender that was a VA specialist, Veterans Affairs specialist for VA loans. And he saw me, not virtual assistant, so like the different VAs. He saw me struggling with the team that I was with, and he definitely saw my values are with wanting to help people and to really, take that one-on-one personal approach and not just treat people as a transaction. So he, made an introduction to a wonderful EXP agent, Chad Vasquez, and we sat down, talked, and had a very similar background and just made the switch.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Cool story so far. And Bonnie, what makes you say I'm never leaving EXP, right? There's all kinds of cool stuff. There's collaboration. You were introduced to EXP by somebody you know, like, and trust. So what makes you not want to dance around with other brokerages? What makes you stay here?
I love that EXP is really no BS. It's very straightforward. I love the low cap rates. I love that if there's anything that I need assistance with, I can go into EXP World and, find something. I have not only my own personal team, but all of the EXP agents around Oahu that I can reach out to. And again, in the world and mastermind and everything such as that, if I need any sort of help, it's right there. And it's easy to get in touch with people. So that's something that I really find, not a whole lot of other brokerages will have, and people are willing to share. Real estate is a really cutthroat industry where people want to save and hoard all their little secrets and they don't want to share anything. And I believe in that a little bit, but if someone's actually, reaching out to help, that's what we want to do. You never know when you're going to see that person again and have a transaction with them. And they remember that sort of stuff.
Of course. No, that's really cool. And it's nice to make an impact on people. And with EXP, you may be on an island, Bonnie, but you've got the metaverse on your side and you can be talking to anyone, anywhere, whenever you need the help, which is really cool about EXP.
Exactly.
I love that. And Bonnie, it's really exciting too, because, somebody out here gets a client that's like, hey, I'm selling, but I want to move to Hawaii. Do you know anybody out there that can get me into a home? As an Icon agent, you're reputable and people are probably just sending them your way every time that happens.
It has been nice getting a couple of referrals. And again, that's the highest accolade and compliment that you could ever receive is, gaining someone's trust through that. So that means a whole lot to me. And of course, I do the same because, being a veteran, I do help mostly active duty and veteran military. And with active duty, they're here 3 to 4 years. And then, they let me know where they're going to go next. And I'm like, I have a team and a huge sphere of people that I know and trust. Let me find you that perfect agent, because I know that you're going to want to buy in Washington, California, or, wherever they're headed to next.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. And Bonnie, obviously you stay busy. You're really involved with the community out there, and high production in Hawaii, which is incredible. So how do you make sure that you're avoiding burnout mode and chasing a work-life balance? How do you take care of Bonnie?
That is still a very, honestly, it's an ongoing battle, because I'm a bit of a workhorse. I think what makes it really enjoyable is that this is my career. It's not a job. I enjoy helping people. I don't really feel too much burnout or even being overwhelmed, just because I know every achievement that we make is one achievement for them. And, that they'll get to the end of the finish line. I've done my job, and that's done, and I want to do another one. It gives me more motivation to keep going. And, you do try to take a little bit of moments of time. As we all know, the market swells and falls. So whenever you do have a moment to breathe, take advantage of it. Like, go to the beach, go to the movies, take whatever time that you enjoy to yourself, to decompress, re-engage, get re-energized, and get back out there.
Absolutely. That's incredible advice. And wow, what island talk. She goes to swell and fall like waves, right? The tide. That's awesome though. And yeah, I like the boundaries, to take a minute and to make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, right? You always want to buy into those warm leads and really lean into them, make sure they feel like they're taken care of, and you should probably be treating yourself the same way.
Very much so. The best piece of advice is that, of course, all successful real estate agents probably live by their calendars, that if you do not schedule it, it won't happen. So I have a revolving schedule to, have a girls' night out, that, while we're there at the dinner table, we schedule the next one. So if it doesn't make it on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So if you have to just, 3 weeks out, call a massage place, schedule it, it's in your calendar and you can't skip out on it.
Right. So, you owe it to yourself.
Exactly.
I love that. That's really good advice, Bonnie. And I would like to talk a little bit more about the Icon Award through Bonnie's eyes, right? So this is the first question I usually ask, because it gives us a good gauge about where all the different markets are. But about how many houses did you have to sell to hit Icon out there in Hawaii?
I wish I knew that answer for you. I have a spreadsheet of all of my transactions, and last year I sold 43 houses. So I wish I could answer specifically how many that has to take. But honestly, I don't know, and I feel like that's a really wrong answer.
That happens all the time, so don't even stress about it. I just like to answer, in case it does, in case that is off the top of your head. It's a good gauge of the markets, but that's no stress. You just sell houses and probably have to do 20 transactions on top of it like everybody else, and that's okay. Perfectly understandable.
Okay, good.
Well, then moving on to the next part of it. Bonnie, as far as iconing, anybody can hit that production, but to really be an icon agent, you have to give back culturally to EXP. So either as a mentor, a coach, teaching in EXP world, what avenue do you plan on taking for your cultural piece?
I want to go into mentoring. So here on the island, everyone knows a real estate agent. There's over 10,000 registered realtors on Oahu by itself. Wow. The average practicing realtor will do anywhere from 1 to 3 transactions. The top 15% will do 8 to 12, and the remaining percent are like the full-time realtors that, do 15 to 20 transactions a year. So it's a culture here. You start to recognize a whole lot of heavy hitters' names, and being in the industry for this long, what I've discovered is that, the best service is what you can give. So I want to take the mentorship role to teach these new agents, like, you never know who you're going to see again. You never know when you have that buyer that's desperate for this listing. And if you were a bit, rude to that agent, they're going to remember.
Right.
So you always want to treat everyone, with kindness, with aloha, knowing that you may never see them again, but you always want to have that positive influence on their life, on their side, so that if it does happen, they're like, oh, this is great. Because I've had that with several agents out here, and again, seen their names again, and right. they fought for my offer for my buyers, and they're like, I've worked with this agent before, she was fantastic. I know that we'll have a smooth and easy deal with her. Several offers have been won that way, and that's the kind of culture that I want to help cultivate, instead of that it's cutthroat and everything has to be hard. Real estate doesn't have to be hard.
Right. Or, fiercely competitive, or rising. I'm
insanely competitive, only child, the military background. I will win.
But we've got a fighter here, people.
Yeah, we no one ever thinks that just real estate is just with them, but it's a culmination of the buyer's agent, seller's agent, lender, and escrow. Like, it's a huge team that, once good people gravitate towards other good people. Mm-hmm. So when you bring it all together, it's smooth for everybody, and that's what everyone wants.
Right. I love that. And, it's good to be competitive, but like in a way where she'll mentor you as well, right? You're not going to come up to Bonnie and she's going to be like, nope, off with your head.
Well, everyone needs to find their own groove. And that's something great just about the real estate industry, period, is that you can do kind of what you want. You can be true to yourself and, get your own, or make your service your own and unique and different.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And Bonnie, as far as iconing, what makes you say hey, I want to icon again next year, beyond your competitive spirit? Is it the fact you can go to EXP Con and shareholders, or you get to give back to EXP? Is it the fact you get your cat back in stock? What makes you say, I'd really like to icon again next year?
Really, it's a combination of all of them. The cat back in stock is great. All those extra incentives, because I'm very much goal oriented. I have a vision mirror, and I don't think a lot of people will set a goal, but they never reward themselves. And to actually have that physically tangible from someone else is pretty great. It's not just for me, it's also for them. So, and then, going to all of the events would be fantastic, because then I can be around other like-minded people, bounce ideas off of, and real estate is always changing. It's an ever-growing, evolving machine, and you have to change with it, otherwise you're just going to be left behind. So love picking people's brains and taking their ideas and morphing it a little bit to the Bonnie style.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And then morphing it to the Bonnie style, right? Because it's not a one size fits all. Like you said, you find your niche, you find your people that you want to work with, you find the, people you connect with best. And obviously somebody else's idea of marketing, social media, isn't going to best fit Bonnie's idea. And so you take it and you make it your own. And I think that's one of the incredible things about EXP is that's welcomed, right? It's exciting to share ideas and pick each other's brains and see what works best out there.
Most definitely.
I love that. And Bonnie, let's put you in a scenario here, right? So I just got done with real estate school. I'm on board with EXP. Everything's done, blah, blah, blah. Signed, sealed, delivered. And I am Bonnie Walker's mentee, right? So you're my mentor, and I have not even written an offer letter yet. Okay, that's how new and fresh I am. And I'm like, hey, Bonnie, I want to icon this year. Okay, so I've had icons tell me this is a come to Jesus talk. So, what would you talk to me about, to set my expectations to a reality without discouraging me? Is that even possible in my first year? Where do I begin on this trek to icon as a rookie?
I came into real estate being a part of small and large teams. So the first thing that I would say is like join a team that, meets your values and surround yourself with like-minded people. Because not only when you immerse yourself in that culture, the questions, you don't have to go to EXP World. You can literally turn over to your shoulder, ask that person who's probably experienced it 1,000 times, and they can give you, their answer or many separate examples that could fit your particular situation at that time.
Yeah.
Always do the personal touch. Make every client feel like they're your only client. And when you do that, it spreads like wildfire. Your name will go super far. You always want to, the key is follow up, do something extra for each of the clients at close. Make personal gifts, maybe on the 3-month mark, send them, something to their work so they can be like, where did this come from? Oh my gosh, my realtor sent it. And it keeps going. And when you go that extra mile, it pays off in the end. And I think that that's probably the best way that you could icon in the first year, is just put your whole heart into it. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Don't wait to have the perfect system. Just when you have the intonation or the care in your heart, put it out there, because that's all that really matters.
I love that. No, and to buy into those warm leads, and like you said, they're going to remember by the way that you made them feel.
Yes, exactly.
And it's exciting, and this is a big decision for them, a large investment. So to feel like you really care and are in it for more than just a commission check, it can't get better than that, right?
Very true.
I love that. And Bonnie, for anybody that is on the outside looking in at EXP, I know you had somebody that like and trust introduce it to you, so it was a bit of an easier decision. But for those people that have kind of found it on their own, and they're getting all these recruiting calls, and they see the model and it makes sense, but they've got this sense of loyalty to their brokerage, right? And they hear these things in the industry like, oh, don't go over to EXP. It's a cult. It's a pyramid scheme. It's this. It's that. So what would you have to say to somebody watching right now that may be in those shoes, kind of sitting on that fence?
I would ask, what are they gaining from you being there? Like I said, I have a spreadsheet of all the transactions that I did in 2020 to 2021, so I can see my growth in actual numbers and percentages very quickly. And I would suggest all agents sit down and do that and see, what is your brokerage providing to you versus what you are giving to them. And for me, it was very quick to see like, hey, this is the nominal or the money that they are taking, from me, and what I'm receiving is not worth this. So I would get that. Loyalty is one of the 7 Army values, and it was a pretty hard decision. Whether made a slightly easier being connected with someone that I trusted. To switch over to EXP, and I tried to work it out with them, and it didn't happen. So if that's something that you can do with your brokerage, great. Give the full trying. But if not, like, sit down with someone that has no vested interest in whether you come to EXP or not, so you don't get that cult mentality, and just see on paper what it would do for you.
Absolutely. No, that's great advice. List out the pros and cons. Let's take it back to first grade, right? What's good about this? What's bad about this? And
I'm definitely a listen. And actually, I had someone. I go to a dog park. I have 2 fluffy Pomeranians. They are my world. And he recently got his real estate license, and he was like, "Where do I go?" And EXP, if you're a go-getter, would be great. he decided to go with one of the larger franchises for their education. But I don't think that he had the, kind of go get a mentality to sit down in EXP world and just freaking crunch it out, that he needed, more of a mentor that was there. So, interview with other people, see what would best fit for you, and just really have that introspection of like, okay, this is what they offer. Am I willing to do it?
Right. And it may not be the right fit for everybody. It may not be the right fit for you right now, right? It sounded like he wanted to get a little more comfortable with it. And once he's at that production level and seeing how much money he's leaving on the table with capping and everything else in brokerage that he doesn't have the opportunity to get back, he's probably going to call you again, Bonnie. And we just know that. That's just something that'll come with time. And so, maybe it's not right for everybody's first brokerage, but sometimes it is. And it's okay to interview with other brokerages and see what's right for you, because that's what's most important when it comes to making these big decisions.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, Bonnie, we are coming up on just over 20 minutes. It's been an awesome podcast. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we wrap it up today? Anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Make sure that you're doing what you love. Don't compromise, because then you're compromising yourself, and then at the end of it, compromising your commission. And just make sure that you stay true to yourself, because that gives you the best service. Because as real estate practitioners, we are here to help people at the end of the day, no matter if you're with Caldwell Banker, Century 21, but EXP is here to help you. And if they're helping you, you can help more people. And then that is just secular for you to, have those bigger commission checks with less cap.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, Bonnie. I think it's been a pleasure talking to you today. And if you are at Shareholders or EXPCon, be on the lookout for me, because I'd love to hunt you down and, just kind of pick your brain and see what's changed in the time between this podcast and then.
Most definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bonnie, so much for your time, and hang out backstage with me after this little commercial, and we'll talk a little bit more, okay?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, Bonnie. Bye.
Aloha.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at SphereRocketVA.com and find out how we can make your life easier.